First story. Delusional OP slept with both of her two best friends and still hangs out with them. She wonders why her boyfriend of 4 years is feeling uncomfortable after overhearing her confessing to it and confronting her. I'll be breaking this up into sections, just to keep it all in chronological order. You can scroll down to part Roman 3 for the actual issue with my boyfriend. And I'll have a TLDR at the bottom, because man, this is going to be long. Part 1. The background. Let me start right off with the problem. My two best friends in the world are male, and I've slept with both of them. It's not as bad as it seems though. It's not like I have feelings for either of them. They're both childhood friends whom I've known for years and years, so I love them both with all of my heart. But the thought of being in a relationship with either of them is unfathomable. One of them, we'll call him Rob, is married now. But we had a brief relationship in our senior year of high school. We broke up after less than a year for several reasons. I wanted to travel abroad for university. He wanted kids, and I didn't. His mother didn't think I was a good fit for him, I know. But we still remained friends. The other, we'll call him John, is a bit more complicated. I would never date him because he has serious issues. And it's not so much the issues that stop me from dating him, as the fact that he adamantly refuses any kind of help or therapy for them. He had some major childhood trauma that he's been big time repressing, and it's affected his ability to have a relationship. He's a bit of a womanizer. After I got back from university abroad, I was 23 and all alone, and I needed a place to live. His parents had moved out to a condo on the beach, and they let John live in their old house. And he offered me one of the spare bedrooms for very low rent. So we lived together for a while without incident. I dated a guy for like 2 years, and John had a constant stream of women in and out of his bedroom. But we discovered a system that worked for us, and we became closer than ever. The problem was that one night, about a year after I broke up with my ex, we hung out in the house alone and got drunk together. We were both super horny and hooked up. And we had amazing sex, like really mind-blowing. I don't know if it was because I was drunk, or because I'd only slept with 2 other people in my life who were both subpar. Rob and I were virgins, and we only had sex like twice before we broke up. And one of the main reasons I split with my other ex was sexual incompatibility. But either way, it was great, and we didn't want to stop. So we kept hooking up for about 8 months. At that point, one of his old exes came back into his life, and he realized he had feelings for her. We tried to stop hooking up, but quite frankly, we have no self-control. I realized I was 29 and had a steady job, and there was no reason I shouldn't move out. So I left. We had one last night of sex the day before I moved out, and we agreed to never talk about it again. Part 2. The boyfriend. You can skip this section, I suppose. It just talks about how my boyfriend, who we'll call Sam, and I got together and outlines some of his insecurities and why this may be a problem for him. Sam had been a long-time coworker of mine. We started working together when I got my job at 26. He was 29 and getting divorced. He told me all about it. As it was happening, he and his wife got married way too fast. She had just broken up with her ex, and 5 months into dating Sam, she discovered she was pregnant with her ex's child. She pressured Sam into marriage because she didn't want to be a single mom, and he agreed. You can imagine why this didn't work out. Anyway, Sam and I became best friends in the workplace. He would tell me stories about his divorce, and I would tell him embarrassing childhood stories about Rob and John. Oh yeah, didn't I mention? We all work together. Rob and John are in different departments, but it's a pretty close-knit company. So he knew I had dated Rob in high school, but he never knew about me hooking up with John. When I told him I was moving out of John's house, he asked me why, and I just said that we were getting older, and it was time for me to get my own place, which was absolutely true. That just happened to be the day that he confessed his longtime feelings for me, and we began to date. Part 3. The problem. About half a year ago, we decided to move in together. His lease was ending, and I owned my house, so he moved into my place. He sometimes works really late nights, and on occasion, I'll have Rob or John over to keep me company when he does. Last night, he was meant to be working until 11 p.m. John was here, and we were hanging out in the living room. It was about 10:30 p.m., and we were drinking a bit and talking kind of loudly. John mentioned to me that his girlfriend was always jealous or worried that he and I had feelings for each other. I said that was silly, and that just because 2 people have great sex doesn't mean they're in love. As I said, we were talking pretty loudly, so I guess Sam came in at some point and heard me say that. I didn't even hear him unlock the front door. But he stormed into the living room and confronted me, asking when John and I had had sex. He looked equal parts disappointed and angry. John left because he didn't want to be involved in our argument. I explained everything I told him John, and I used to hook up when we lived together. And that was part of the reason I moved out of his place, because it wasn't healthy for us to have that kind of relationship. It had been 4 years, and we rarely ever spoke about it, and it hasn't affected our friendship at all. Sam now tells me he's uncomfortable with the fact that I have slept with both of the people I consider my best friends in the world. He's also uncomfortable with the fact that, just a few days before he and I got together, I had sex with John. He says it taints our entire relationship because I lied to him about it. I think he's being a bit puritanical about it. Of course I have a sexual past, and why does it matter if it was only a few days ago since it didn't mean anything? It's not like I had feelings for John, and we always used protection and frequently got tested. And I told Sam that, so it's not like he's concerned about the health risks. He's just jealous. And he wants me to hang out with John less, and he doesn't feel comfortable with us drinking together at all. He also insists I should make new friends and separate myself a bit from Rob and John, because it's weird that both of the people I'm closest with are people who have seen me naked. I think he's being entirely unreasonable. John and I are both in relationships, and we have no feelings for each other whatsoever. The fact that we hooked up with each other for a while is something we want to leave in the past. And to bring Rob into it is just ridiculous. It's been 15 years since we had anything to do with each other romantically, and he's now married with kids. I think Sam just wants to punish me or something because he's weirdly jealous. I honestly don't know what to make of this situation. TLDR, Rob and John, my two best friends in the world, are male, and I've slept with both of them. I was with Rob like 15 years ago, and we broke up. John and I had a FWB situation, and the last time we hooked up was a few days before I started dating my current boyfriend, Sam. Sam just found out about John and thinks it's weird that I'm still so close with people I've had sex with. Is he right? Should I reduce my contact with Rob and John and try to make new friends? Or is Sam just being unreasonable? Update. A year later. I know it's over a year later, and probably no one remembers this post. But I will never forget it because hearing from all of you Redditors changed my life and saved my relationship. So if there's anyone here who read my last post, you deserve to know that you were right. After reading all the comments on the last post, I realized that Sam was not overreacting at all and would have been more than reasonable to break up with me because of this. I showed him my post, and we had a long discussion in which I promised I would never hang out with Rob or John alone again. I told him I loved him so much, and that he was the most important person in my life, and I would do anything to gain his trust back, even if he wanted me to stop seeing my friends altogether. He said that wasn't necessary, and he didn't mind if I saw them alone occasionally. He just would prefer if it were in public and not late at night or with alcohol involved. He felt sorry for being judgmental of me, but I told him that he was completely right, and my relationship with John was inappropriate. I just needed something like this to make me see it. So we moved past it fairly easily and are actually now married. It was a courthouse wedding on our 5th anniversary, which was very lovely. Now here's the part where everyone was right. After my conversation with Sam, John and I drifted apart a bit. I still hung out with Rob and his wife, but John broke up with his girlfriend, and I no longer felt comfortable being with him alone. So he and I would hang out with Rob, but that happened maybe once or twice a month, where before we would see each other a few times a week. Then, last Thanksgiving, when Sam and I announced we were getting married, John actually left dinner early. He replied shortly to all my messages, didn't return my calls, and barely spoke to me. I didn't see him again until my wedding in December. You can guess where this is going. Thankfully, nothing happened at the wedding, although that would have made for a great screenplay, as someone in a comment on the last post mentioned. It was a small ceremony, just our families, a couple of Sam's friends, Rob, his wife, and John. We went out to a restaurant for a reception dinner, and John seemed withdrawn the entire time. I guessed he was not happy that I was married. So since Sam and I got back from our honeymoon in January, I have seen John maybe twice. Once for Easter and again for Rob's birthday. I've tried to say hi at work, but he always makes an excuse and walks away. He didn't even come to Sam's birthday last month. After that, I decided that I would stop trying to reach out to him, and he could talk to me when he was ready. Last week, he was finally ready. Sam was offered the opportunity to travel abroad for 8 months with his job, and I was invited to come along. We decided to accept it, and I suppose John saw Sam's Facebook post about it, because the next day John sought me out at work. He asked me if I was really leaving the country for 8 months, and when I said yes, he asked why I couldn't stay. I asked why he cared if I stayed when we hadn't really spoken in months. He said, "I'm sorry, never mind," and walked away, but at that point, it was clearer than ever what was really going on. So Sam and I are leaving in September. His job will still be waiting for him when he gets back, but I have decided to find a new one. I'm glad that I'll be out of the country for a bit. I feel really stupid for not having realized that John could have feelings for me. There's never been anything there on my end, so I just assumed it was the same for him since we were able to be roommates in FWB. It seems obvious now. Everyone who commented on my last post was spot on about our relationship not being normal, and I am so glad that Reddit was able to see what I wasn't. I am so deliriously happy to be in love with my husband. I don't even want to think about what would have happened had I not posted here. So thank you all again, and I hope this update is in some way satisfying. TLDR. John had feelings for me for God knows how long. I was a dolt for not seeing it. I don't really spend time with him anymore because I'm now married, and I am extremely grateful to this sub for opening my eyes and probably saving my relationship. Second story. OP's partner's entitled daughter wants a graduation party at OP's house, so she organized it. Now, the daughter demands that OP vacate her own house because she will make her real mom uncomfortable. OP is heartbroken and wants to cancel the party. My longtime partner has been divorced for years. The divorce was acrimonious, and he and his ex-wife do not get along. We've been asked to host their daughter's graduation party at our home because my partner's ex dropped the ball and failed to secure the venue. I spent a week planning the party, making arrangements, and ordering materials to make her vision a reality. A week later, she informed us that my presence would anger her mother, and under no circumstances could I attend the party being held at my home in our shop. I am expected, however, to devote my time and creative talents to making her graduation party beautiful. WIBTA, if I refuse to plan, organize, and decorate for this party. Top comment rating and OP's response. Redditor. NTA. The daughter has the audacity to use your venue and give you an ultimatum that you can't attend it despite all your planning. Plus, does your partner know about this? Is he not going to stand up for you? Man, if I were you, I'd pull the rug from the venue and tell them. If my presence will anger your mother, I'm guessing my house, which contains many of my belongings, will probably irritate her as well. Go find another place. OP. It will be held in our attached shop, not our actual house. They reached a compromise today. I can remain in the house where the party isn't, while his ex-wife can remain in the shop where the party is. They apparently expected me to vacate my home entirely. The OP details the party planning process with the partner's daughter. My relationship with her has always been great. We sat down together when we agreed to host the party and discussed her vision for the day. We agreed that I would handle the food, fancy cupcakes, centerpieces, photo backdrop, photo display, etc. She was happy, and I began planning and organizing. She called about a week later to tell her dad that I couldn't attend because her mom hates me and the daughter doesn't want drama. She said her mom, who can't cook or bake, will make the cupcakes, and they will order Jimmy John's sandwiches. They will handle the photo display. All I should do is decorate for a party I can't attend. Sounds delightful. My partner called his ex-wife to discuss my banishment, and it ended with her screaming, insulting me, etc. She told the girls horrible lies about us. He's worried that if I attend the party, his girls will reject him entirely due to their mom. Parental alienation is real. She's done similar things in the past. Thread on why switching the party to another venue is not possible. Redditor. Your house and you can't attend. I'm sorry, but you need to tell them to F off and find a new venue. Sure, the mom didn't just deliberately not book a venue, so they could avoid the expense and use your house. NTA. OP. That could be. She does try to avoid all expenses. She placed our addresses with RSVPs to herself on the graduation announcements. This seems ridiculous for me to ask if I'm the ArsieHole, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something. OP on why daughter does not want her in attendance. The mother has convinced her that I would create drama at her party because I called the police on her 14 years ago. She didn't mention the reason for the call, or the fact that my neighbors had already called the police after asking her to leave multiple times. She made a huge scene in our neighborhood and threatened us. The daughter said, "She's been mean to mom though. She called the cops on her once." There will be more discussions on this. OP explains the incident prompting the police response referenced above. She and her sister made a scene outside of my home, screaming that she would kill me, kick my arse, etc. I didn't take it as a serious threat to my life by any means. She was just having a tantrum, but it disturbed my quaint neighborhood while they were having Labor Day BBQs, and one of them called the police after telling them to leave. I wasn't aware of this call and eventually called the police as well. This was several months after she had filed for divorce. Thread on where partner stands. OP. He is siding with his daughter, who is attempting to avoid drama because her mother isn't adult enough to be in the same room as me. They have been divorced for years, and she's had multiple boyfriends, none of whom were banned from this party. Redditor. Does he not realize the drama he'll have in his own effing home from you for not supporting him? He's not supporting his daughter. They're both enabling his ex at the cost of your feelings. Why are her feelings more important to your husband than your own? OP, he does. I've moved into the guest room. This is a deal breaker for me. He doesn't get to see his kids often thanks to his ex-wife. So he feels he always has to give them everything because she's told him so many bad things about him. This isn't entirely his fault, but it definitely isn't mine. OP on her and the partner's assets and relationship. Just to clear a few things up. We live together. We spend all nights together and have for many years. We work out of state and live at my place out of state when we are working. I would say the breakdown is probably 65-35, spending more time at his house. We consider both places ours. I work entirely remotely now, so we don't even need our home in the state where we work. I will continue to maintain it regardless. I am not a home wrecker. I am registered to vote at his place, and I receive mail there. We built the house together. Every inch of it involved me. I am not a gold digger. I've worked for everything I've ever had in my life. And at this point, his ex-wife still gets most of the gold. I do not complain about this. I love his children and am good to them. OP's rationale for helping with decorations. My partner paid for the items I've purchased, so he won't let me return them. He will have no idea what to do with them though. They aren't plastic, congrats grad type decorations. They are bulk materials to make a beautiful party. Edit added to the original post the same day. In our home, next door to this boring party, all of my best girlfriends and I will be consuming the food I had planned for the party while dressed in LBDs, drinking champagne, and contemplating my future. OP shares more on these plans. This isn't a revenge party. All of these people were already planning to attend, but were uninvited because they were my friends, and I couldn't be there, so they couldn't either, interestingly. We aren't competing with them in any way. They are just supporting me. We have a month before the party. The residence is large enough that the attendees of each party won't even see one another. OP comments on his partner, taking action with his ex-wife. I'm definitely not attending. But my partner did let his ex know that this won't be happening in the future, and that there is no reason we can't all coexist for the sake of the children. She didn't respond. OP and partner discussed their relationship with one another and his daughters. He's agreed to set firm boundaries with the children, and to assure them that they should never expect this of us in the future. He also agreed to therapy. We would not have agreed to host the party if we had known I couldn't attend. Hey, I know that the high road is often unrewarding and lonely. I'm not trying to be a martyr. I just decided this party sounds like absolute torture, and I would have far too much anxiety about it to attend. Our friends and family will make an appearance and join us at the house. Update. In the comments of the original post, OP on her commitment to her daughter's request to decorate the graduation party. Thank you. The party is 2 days away, and I'm still struggling with how this has made me feel about my partner. I didn't work this week because I had so much to do to prepare for the party. I've done 1000x more than both parents combined. Even though it was ultimately my choice to handle the decorations, I still feel used. I hope to soon put this in the past. Update. In the comments of the original post, OP responding to an update request once the party date had passed. I am reluctant to update after my partner was presented with a packet of screenshots of the post and my comments, apparently in an effort to present me as a bad person. The rules for updates are a little onerous, and I should probably just let this subject die. My self-esteem is already in the trash. Another update request response. Your comment made me tear up. Thank you. Somehow they've all made me the enemy, and I'm convinced they must see something that I don't. They are so focused on my post. How dare I post personal issues on the internet? Yet they've offered zero support to me. Only condemnation. As if this post is some sort of unforgivable sin. I feel so alone. My friends and family are supportive, but it's embarrassing to have progressed so little in the last 6 weeks. Thread on OP and partner after the party. Partner's family's reaction. OP. I was thanked by my partner. I hesitate to say more, as some people care far more about appearances than they do about people. Redditor. How are you and your partner holding up? Scratch that. How are you doing? I strongly believe you are in the right, and I hope your partner can see that too. OP. It's been rough. I'm trying to move past this issue, but we've had many arguments about it. I'm going to try to stop thinking about it, but I will react very differently if this happens in the future. My partner doesn't think I'm in the right. He understands why I'm so upset, but any real sympathy he had was erased when his family confronted him about my post. I told him about it the day I posted it, and he said, "I'm just happy you aren't still crying." A reporter from Newsweek messaged me for an interview that day, which I did not provide. Ultimately, Newsweek posted an article about it anyway. He called me Newsweek for days, and it was not in anger. I was so blown away by the attention it received I couldn't believe that millions of people have viewed it, and I made the mistake of posting it on Facebook, which is surely how they saw it. He wasn't upset that I posted it until his family was. Update. In the comments of the Boru, OP offers a high-level update. I am willing to answer specific questions and messages. But this situation was humiliating and insulting enough for me. I won't be offering an official update beyond stating the following. 1. I was not looking for sympathy, and certainly not drama. I truly sought unbiased opinions as to whether or not I was wrong. I didn't expect it to receive so much attention. 2. When I posted on Facebook, a really dumb move, I restricted those who could see the post. But it was still a huge mistake and definitely my fault. 3. This will never happen again. 4. We live and work in 2 different states, which necessitates us having 2 residences. One is mine, one is his, and both are ours. 5. He did not leave his ex-wife for me. 6. It's a very complicated and nuanced situation. 7. Dad is a great parent, and both girls say their dad is their best friend. Again, complicated and nuanced. 8. I did not set foot at her graduation party, nor did any of my friends, but we remained available to send out more napkins and refreshments as needed. 9. The mother didn't lift a finger to set up or clean up, but my friends and our neighbors did. 10. I am indeed timid and shy, and I am actually so thankful I wasn't allowed at this party, because I would have had so much anxiety. I did feel like a doormat, thanks for all of the reinforcement on that, but I don't anymore. Everything has improved dramatically since the party. Oh yeah, and about the Newsweek thing. This situation does not qualify as news, and I did not respond to an interview request. It was quite clearly clickbait, and I truly couldn't believe it was posted, because people on Reddit jumped to cheating as the explanation for everything. None of this is true, FYI. 2 long divorce periods. 1 successful. Multiple separations. We dated long ago during one of them. Both parties dated other people. We weren't together that entire time. It's a complicated situation, but he didn't leave his wife for me. It's not like that. I've never implied I do everything right. I make plenty of mistakes. We are all from the same state and city. Anyway, he's been divorced for 5 years. OP describes the alternate party. That party went great until one of my friends broke her ankle, long after the graduation party ended. Consequently, we spent the night in the ER. The food was amazing, and so was the company. OP on whether the daughter and ex-wife reacted badly to the AITA Newsweek drama. I agree that was a dumb move. I limited the audience, but apparently not well enough. The daughter isn't on Facebook and wasn't aware of any of this, nor is the ex. OP shares more on the shop and working out of state. The shop is a finished 2,400 square foot attached building in which we store our boat and all of the other boats in the family, as well as construction equipment. My partner owns a construction company, and most of the work he does is out of state. At one time, my work was there as well, before it went remote. He has to physically be present out of state. I don't, but we travel together because I can work from anywhere. Sorry for the confusion. My OP was really long, and I shortened it, which made it confusing. My apologies. TLDR. It's like a giant garage. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.